Hi, welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. Well, spring is here, but today it actually feels a lot more like summer. I'm feeling quite warm over here in the shed. I think it's because it has been fairly cold up until this point, and when it gets warm, it's just such a difference in your body temperature. So it's feeling hot over here today. So in the 6 seasons that I've talked about before, it is now true spring. It is warm and windy. There are lots of insects and birds and flowers, and all of that is absolutely true. Today is both warm and windy, so it's we're getting the combination of everything. But we've also had cold and quite wet days, and there is a lot more rain forecast to come. I think about 40 mil, which is a lot of rain. So we could be in for some more flooding of the creek and our paddocks. As I said, we have had some really strong winds. This year has been particularly bad for strong winds, I think, but we are prone to winds where we are. We're sort of in a bit of a valley, and so it kind of like rushes through. So we had a really big tree come down on the fence during the week. Luckily, it hadn't broken the fence and it hadn't interrupted the supply of the electric fence either. So we were able to wait until a still day so that we were able to be really careful to get it off the fence. And it took quite a while. It was really large and it fell really close to the fence where its root system was. So the part that was on the fence was really thick and heavy. So first we had to clear all of the branches off and then slowly cut it until we got close to the fence before we could actually get it off. So we pulled all of the branches away and we burnt all of that, and all of the larger logs that came from the trunk we have stacked up, and we'll have to wait for that to dry before we're able to use it for firewood, but it will be really great firewood once it's all dried out. So yeah, there was no damage to the fence. All we had to do once the wire was free again was to just tighten up that top wire a little bit. But part of the reason that it didn't break in the first place was because we do keep them fairly loose for this particular instance, because that way it can take the slack and they don't snap. We also picked a whole lot of rhubarb this week. Our plants have gone completely crazy over here by the shed. I was a little worried when I first moved them. I dug them out from the garden near the house and brought them over here, but they have done incredibly well and even grown a new plant. So we're thinking that that's going to continue to happen, which is really good. But we have so much of it that's ripe right now and way too much for us to eat. So we picked some for ourselves, and then Seb decided that he would bundle it up, and as part of his business, he would sell that as well as his eggs. So he's now got his farm fresh garden part of his business, and he put them in little bundles, and they have been part of our contactless pickup system that we have at the top of our driveway. Well, this weekend is the Big Wool Show, September 4 and 5. So I hope that you are out there shopping hard, looking at all of the great stall holders and their yarn and fibre, and making the most of all of the workshops and interviews that are happening as well. I did all of my last preparations for the show this week. I had a few more batches of DK that I wanted to get dyed up. I did Island Life, as well as Princess of Pink, and Mint Slice. If you're watching this as the show is going on, I have a show special on my Bunch of Flowers mini skein sets. Instead of choosing 5, you can choose 6 for the same price. So you're getting a mini skein for free. I have 11 different flower colorways to choose from that you can mix and match to make your own bunch of flowers. perfect for this time of year, for spring. And also, it might be a nice thing that you can grab for a crafty friend and send as a little thinking of you gift when we're all experiencing lockdown and just hard times right now. I also dyed up a batch of my Christmas yarn, so it is all ready to go for the launch on Wednesday. Make sure you are signed up to my newsletter to be the very first to be able to grab yourself some before it goes live on the website. And with the start of spring, I've been inspired to do some cleaning up and spring cleaning here in the shed. With preparations for the Big Wool Show, I was kind of piling things up because I needed to keep things out and I was using them. And just things got a little bit messy, especially my reskeins area. I had so much scrap yarn and tags and all sorts of stuff that shouldn't even be on that bench. So I spent some time and I've cleared that all away. And now I have a lovely, clean, fresh workspace again, which feels really nice. I've also done that with my desk here in the shed as well and my packing station area. So I feel that everything is fresh and sorted and ready for the start of spring. Last week, I had hardly any crafting to show you. I was just in a bit of a funk. And after I recorded, I sort of thought, I wonder why that is and how I can get myself out of it. I wanted to be out of it, but I just didn't feel like really knitting that much. So I grabbed my crochet granny stripe blanket and I've worked 3 new colors into that. And doing that crochet just really got me back into the mood again. I think with the bright colors of it, it just made me happy and it was nice and I didn't have to think about it. And now I feel much better and I'm getting back into my knitting again as well. So here is the progress that I made. I added To the Fudge Room, the Dusty Rose, and the While the Sun Shines. And there is the rest of the colors there. So I'm really loving this blanket. It is huge in terms of width, like it fits across my queen size bed. And I am adding all of my own colorways into the blanket to make a passion flower granny stripe blanket for myself. And when I'm adding a new color, I am listing it on my Ravelry project page just so that I can see where I'm up to with using all my colors without having to unfold the massive blanket to see what I've used and what I haven't. And so you can check out that page to see all of the colors that are in it so far. So then I also did get back into knitting as well, another blanket, the 10 stitch blanket that I am making bigger. So what I have done is I've finished the log cabining with the slightly different color. And now I'm working on the ends to make it even more of a rectangle with this blue. And I have checked with the owner of the blanket and she is loving this color. What I am doing is a diagonal broken rib. So sort of trying to keep with the garter stitch kind of look, but do something slightly different. So I'm going to do a panel of that on each end to make it even bigger. And then add a little lace edge on that side and then along the other sides as well to bring it all together. And I've been looking for an edging that would work, that's quite simple, a garter stitch edge. And I have this book, the Japanese Knitting Stitch Bible, and it's a beautiful book. It's got so many different stitch patterns and ways to modify stitch patterns. But in it, it has a section specifically on garter stitch edgings. So I am going to take one of those, one of the narrower ones that maybe has a little bit of a zigzag or a picot or something, and I'm going to add that around the entire edge of the blanket to finish it off. So it's still going to be a project that's a little ways off, but I feel like I now have the full plan. I did try adding the next round at a 90-degree angle and picking up as I went around, but it was too stretchy. It kind of didn't give the blanket the structure that I wanted and I couldn't get the stitch pattern that I was after the same way. So that got ripped out, and now I'm happy with what I'm doing. And hopefully I've got enough of this colored yarn to complete what I need to make the blanket the right size. I've also been working on sample squares. I finished one in While the Sun Shines. I have no idea why I don't have one of these already. I knit myself a whole jumper out of this color, but for some reason I must have given away the scraps or used them in something else, and I never made a square. And I've now started a square in Princess of Pink. So just got the little inside bit. And when I finish this one, I'll also be doing a square in Brown Streams and Soft Dim Skies as well. And those will all be put up on to the website in the repeatable colors section, so that it's a nice visual of how all of the different colors look in the same project. And of course, I have cast on another pair of socks because I always need to have a pair of socks on the needles. I've got them 2 at a time. I'm doing magic loop on just one long circular, and I've done all of the toe increases. So now I'm just knitting in the round until they are long enough for the heel to be put in. I am using the Lana Cozy in the custard colorway, and I really love this yarn for bed socks, which is what these are going to be. These are going to be bed socks for myself. It is a possum yarn blend, and it is beautifully soft and warm without being hot. Like, it's quite breathable and really nice feels like you're getting a little hug on your feet, really. So I already have a pair that I made in a blue, and now I'm making a second pair in this yellow. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I look forward to seeing you next week on the farm. Bye.